Hey, what's up there? This is Sage Bond, and I'm giving you my review on the book Call of Cthulhu, run by H.P. Lovecraft. So, just talk about, basic plot summary. So, the book begins with the main character bitching for a while about how technology and science is going to lead into a new dark age. And then his uncle had been interviewing a guy named Wilcox for a while who's been having dreams of Cthulhu and visions of a city with with giant monoliths and green ooze all over the buildings, and they're all in weird acute angles. And also, he has dreams of Cthulhu, the giant man, humanoid dragon squid man. He has a squid, tentacles for a face, and then he has dragon wings, and then he got scaly body, that's a humanoid body, and then he got claws on his hands and feet, and that is what Cthulhu looks like exactly. I actually, read this book so I would know exactly, everything about Cthulhu because I was fascinated about Cthulhu from South Park and Rick and Morty, the intro to Rick and Morty. So let's continue. So he interviews the dude Wilcox, and then a few days later, an investigator comes in, and he tells them a story about a cult that pretty much had the same thing. He brings with him a little statue of Cthulhu, and it's a Cthulhu on a triangle pillar with two claws on top of it, and 2 feet around it, and his back wings touching the very bottom of the triangle. And they were like, and the stone was really green and like old looking, like thousands of years old. And he told a story of village people who pretty much did satanic rituals and shit for Cthulhu and chanted crazy stuff for Cthulhu. And I can't really remember what like the chant was exactly, but it was something like Cthulhu is dead, is like dead, but in the dreams, or like it will continue dreaming or some shit, or the one will like come with her dreams or some shit. I don't really remember, but I think I remember there was like a thing where the cult said fucking the Great One will bring with him, mini versions of them, of himself. So that was something trippy because, they had a mini version of it. So after the investigator told his story, the, main character, I don't remember his name, he went back to the Wilcox guy because he was like, you motherfucker, you heard about this, and you were making up your dreams. And he went back and it turned out, his dreams were proof, his uncle wasn't lying. Well, it was believable. And then chapter 3 comes along. There's the things like in 3 chapters. And chapter 3 is the really exciting stuff because so far, a bunch of people are dreaming about Cthulhu and, in their sleep, seeing Cthulhu and their cults for Cthulhu also around in the world. And so there is this fisherman who, encountered Cthulhu. And so the dude goes and the fisherman tells like a somewhat bullshit story, I guess. Like he doesn't know, like the part that is blanked out is the Cthulhu stuff. And so the dude goes to his house and reads his like final manuscript, like convinces his wife that he has the rights to read it. And so he reads the manuscript, and it's literally like it's the most savage part of the story because you're waiting for Cthulhu the whole time. You're just like, oh, I hope there is actual Cthulhu because it's only in like dreams and cults and shit up to this point. And there's totally actual Cthulhu. So these I think it's 6 sailors. They're sailing, and they get horrible, storm, and they get stuck on an island. Well, not really stuck, but they go on an island, and it's this crazy looking old island, and they have giant green like stairs, like for fucking a giant, and they're all green and mossy, and they have all acute angles, and then when they get to the very top of the giant, green mossy shit stairs, they find a door. The door was like the most strangest way ever, and they start fucking with it, and the door automatically opens on its own in like a weird angular fashion, like the most strangest way ever. Like the book described it as the most strangest thing ever, so I assumed it opened like angularly like that or some shit. And Cthulhu came like climbing out of it, and then he's just like out. Cthulhu is out, and they all start running. Two of the fishermen just die of fear immediately, and then Cthulhu like sweeps up three of them, and then like the other two just start up the boat and leave, and then Cthulhu starts following them, and then one of the men, one of the guys just starts laughing insanely and like pretty much dies of insane laughter, and then Cthulhu gets in front of them, and then one of the guys are just like fucking, like, the last guy's just like fuck it, rams Cthulhu. Cthulhu turns into green smoke that smells like a bladder being exploded, which is fucked up, description of it. But yeah, green smoke, and then he reforms, and he, he just Cthulhu goes away, and the dude gets away, and then he goes and he dies later himself of, no knowledge of Cthulhu, he says in his manuscript. And then the dude himself, the dude who just read it, the main character, is like, now I know of Cthulhu, so now I fear I may die too. And that's pretty much how the story ends. And it was a very good story. I mean, the reason I read it is because, I heard it's a very good story, really good. I mean, it's in South Park and Rick and Morty, so it was interesting to see because South Park did a pretty good representation, like pretty good of Cthulhu, and it was very cool to know of Cthulhu. A thing I didn't really talk about is in the dreams, he also came from a city called Ren, I think, where all the I did talk about it, where it had a monolith and all of them had like ancient like I guess text like symbols all over it to the buildings, and it was pretty weird, and like also Cthulhu, the cults said that Cthulhu is like the demon king, and he like pretty much the king of anarchy, and when he rises, fucking it's pretty much gonna be like hell on earth, but it's gonna be like a fucking happy hell on earth, like everyone's gonna be like joyfully murdering each other and like going at it hardcore. Like when like Cthulhu rises, pretty much, just like well, we're all gonna. It's pretty much like Super Purge, just like endless, just like a constant state of like, thriving, murdering, So I was like, that's pretty cool, what Cthulhu is in that sense, and also the fisherman dying at the end of hysterical laughing. I like that a lot too. I was like, that's pretty cool. And the other fisherman, the one that survived the Cthulhu incident, just dying of fear afterwards, also was crazy because apparently he went out into sea with yellow hair and came back with white hair, and he pretty much died of stress and fear. He said in his manuscript he had not been able to sleep, and so it's very it's kind of it's a pretty creepy story, and the main character is all like, oh, I don't know, it's cosmic horrors I stumbled upon, and I completely forgot the main character's name. I have no idea if there even is a main character's name in the story, if he even had the name. But it was very cool. At the beginning, he was bitching about how technology is, going to send us into like a new dark age. And I can't, put more detail onto that. But he was pretty much right, the written in the 1930s, so like you were right character about that. So it was really cool. I really liked, the Cthulhu-ness of it all. That's like the main reason I read it, just for Cthulhu. And now I know about Cthulhu, I can wrap my head around it. I mean, pretty much if you've seen, the 3-part episodes of South Park, you know what Cthulhu is to, a point. They pretty much do it. I get that, that sounds messed up, but that's pretty much the basic. But you should read this story or audiobook this story. And to be honest, I audiobooked it, but it was very good, And so yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe if you want to see more. And peace out, y'all.